Ambassador Zethkri's scales rippled with anxiety as she approached the restricted archives deep within the Galactic Council's central tower. The biolocks recognized her clearance, one of only 12 beings in the known galaxy authorized to access classified designation, Sol 3. The heavy doors hissed open, revealing rows of crystalline data cores that hummed with forbidden knowledge. She had served the Council for 3 centuries, yet this would be her first time reading the complete Sol Fili. The partial briefings had been enough before, but now, with the growing whispers throughout the galaxy, she needed to understand why a single star system, quarantined for over 200 years, still haunted the dreams of species across 1,000 worlds. The primary data core activated at her touch, projecting holographic records that made her breathing slits flutter with unease. The file began with standard stellar cartography. A yellow dwarf star, 8 planets, 1 harboring carbon-based life. Unremarkable by most standards, yet the classification stamp glowed ominous red. Absolute prohibition. Species extinction. Protocol authorized. Zethkri's mandibles clicked nervously as she scrolled through the initial contact reports. First contact had occurred during the early expansion period, when the Council's exploratory fleets were mapping the outer spiral arms. The species called themselves humans, bipedal mammals with an average lifespan of barely a century. Initial assessments had categorized them as Tier 7, primitive, technologically limited, of minimal strategic value. The recommendation had been standard procedure: establish a monitoring station, wait for natural technological development, initiate formal contact once they achieved faster-than-light capabilities. Simple, routine. The next file made her scales pale to a sickly gray. Incident Report, April 17, 2287. Monitoring Station Alpha Sol Station Commander Velnox reporting. The humans have done something impossible. Our cloaked observation post, positioned 3 light hours from their homeworld, has been discovered. Not detected, discovered. They knew we were here. A single human vessel constructed from primitive alloys and powered by crude fusion drives approached our position. It should not have been able to see us, reach us, or even know we existed. Our stealth technology is millennium tested across 1,000 species. The human ship transmitted a message in perfect galactic standard. We know you've been watching. We'd like to talk. Zethkri's third heart began beating irregularly. She expanded the file, revealing surveillance footage that defied explanation. The human vessel, little more than welded metal plates and jury-rigged engines, had somehow pinpointed their location through 17 layers of quantum camouflage. The ship's commander, a female human designated as Captain Sarah Chen, had calmly requested permission to board. The monitoring station's logs documented what followed. Captain Chen had somehow anticipated every security protocol, bypassed systems that should have been incomprehensible to her species, and walked directly to the command center as if she had the station blueprints memorized. When questioned, she had simply smiled and said, "We've been listening to your dreams." Council Emergency Session Transcript, sealed High Counselor Morden. The implications are disturbing. How does a primitive species intercept subconscious neural patterns transmitted through quantum encrypted channels? Science Director Keth Wan. They shouldn't be able to. Our dream-sharing technology requires neural interfaces that their biology cannot support. Yet the evidence is undeniable. They have been monitoring our subconscious communications for decades. Captain Chen, via translation matrix. Every night your people dream of home. Your memories leak through the quantum foam like water through a broken dam. We've been collecting those dreams, learning your languages, understanding your cultures. We know about the Velnari's poetry festivals. We know the Zefti's secret shame about their ancestors. We know the Council fears us, though you don't yet understand why. The transcript continued for hours, documenting humanity's impossible knowledge of galactic civilization. They had reconstructed entire star charts from fragmented dream memories. They had learned a dozen alien languages from the unconscious thoughts of sleeping diplomats. They had built rudimentary quantum computers by reverse engineering half-remembered technical specifications that had leaked through the dreams of Council engineers. But most disturbing of all, they had begun to dream back. Psychological warfare. Assessment, urgent. The humans have weaponized consciousness itself. Council operatives across 17 sectors report identical phenomena. Vivid dreams of the human homeworld, emotional connections to a species they have never encountered, inexplicable urges to visit the Sol system. Preliminary analysis suggests the humans have developed a form of quantum mimetic propagation. Their thoughts, their emotions, their very essence spreads through the galactic consciousness like a virus. Species that have never heard of Earth describe it in perfect detail. Children on worlds 1,000 light-years away draw pictures of human faces. The effect is accelerating. Zethkri's claws scratched against the data core as she accessed the final files. The Council's response had been swift and desperate. Immediate quarantine of the Sol system, deployment of quantum scramblers to block dream transmissions, and the absolute prohibition of any contact with humanity. But the damage had been done. The whispers had already begun. Current status report. Despite 2 centuries of containment, the human influence continues to spread. Their quarantine zone has been breached 17 times by sleepwalking pilots, who claim they were called home to a world they've never seen. 3 separate species have developed human-like art forms with no possible source of inspiration. The Kethri have begun celebrating something they call Christmas, though they cannot explain what it means. Most concerning, our long-range sensors indicate massive industrial activity within the Sol system. The humans are building something. Our quantum scramblers detect energy signatures that match no known technology, yet somehow feel familiar. Recommendation: maintain absolute quarantine. Under no circumstances should any Council vessel enter the Sol system. The humans have evolved beyond our understanding of consciousness itself. They do not merely exist within reality. They reshape it through the simple act of being remembered. Zethkri closed the files, her mind reeling. As she walked back through the tower's corridors, she became aware of something that chilled her to the bone. She was humming a melody she had never heard before, lyrics in a language she didn't know, about a blue-green world called Earth where beings like herself were always welcome. The humans had found her, even here in the most secure facility in the galaxy. Through dreams, through whispers, through the simple act of being thought about, they had reached across the void and touched her mind with theirs. And despite everything she had read, despite the Council's warnings and the species-wide prohibition, Ambassador Zethkri found herself wondering what it would be like to see their sun rise over that impossible world they called home. In the depths of space, the Sol system waited patiently behind its wall of silence, and humanity dreamed of the day when the galaxy would finally stop running from the family it had always been meant to join.